All this week we've been looking at ways people get their voices to be heard, and today we're hearing what you have to say about it in BFD Talkback. This comment's from our first No Mas video, and it says the following. Obviously, No Mas is a good thing, but how often is protest even effective anymore? Let's take this question to TakePart.com social justice editor Alan McDonnell. Alan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, man. How effective is protest anymore?
You look at Occupy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. They got minimized when they first went out there. The press killed them, and yet they stuck it out and they got through. So they got their message across. The message is all about the income, the financial inequity here in this country, how it's ruining the country, tearing the fabric of the country apart. But then they started to move a little forward. The police came in, shut them down. Well, what good did it do, right? Obviously, they have not changed the banking system. They haven't changed the financial system.
And they're not there anymore.
No, and also they're not there anymore. And I think if you go back and you look at like the civil rights movement, you look at the anti-war movement, all those movements, they had these charismatic leaders who were really well versed in what was going on, who were very articulate, and who could motivate people. I challenge anyone to look at Occupy and go, here was a charismatic leader of Occupy.
There really wasn't one, was it?
We've had times when protests did work. And you had like against the war in Vietnam, civil rights protests, people, and then you had like the big gay protests in the 80s about AIDS.
Right.
Every one of those things they had in common was people's lives were on the line.
So that's what distinguishes it from ones that are ineffective and effective.
Yeah.
It's the matter of...
The matter is if your life is on the line, you're going to go there and you're fully committed.
So what's the value in protest if it doesn't change things?
You know, it's easy to criticize Occupy, you know, in several different ways. And one of the main things, like I guess the fundamental criticism, is it wasn't successful. You know, it didn't change the American financial world. But here's the thing: it may not be done. If the finances go really bad, people get up against the wall too much, Occupy could come back. You know, this made what we saw last year or the year before. It may have just been a first wave, and when things get way worse, there could be a second wave. It may not be called Occupy. Who knows what it could be? But it's going to be that same sentiment. It would come back stronger. It would come back with a kind of like a groundwork for the organization. It would come back. People would know what did work, what didn't work. People would be more savvy. On the other hand, like perhaps the people in power would be a little more savvy as well. Maybe they'd handle it a little differently as well. You know, if you don't go out there and get your message out there, not only are you going to lose your right to do it, you're going to lose the means to do it. The platform won't even be there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, Alan.
Thank you.
It's important to speak out against injustice in the world, not just because it works, but because it defends our right to do so in the first place. Click the link below to support free speech, and also exercise your right to free speech by telling us what you say no mas to in the comments below. For BFD, I'm David Park. Be sure to subscribe.